The U.S. Supreme Court agrees to take up the Obama administration's proposed new immigration plan. It could shield more than 4 million people from deportation. The actions are aimed at allowing undocumented immigrants to apply for programs that could make them eligible for work authorization. The president unveiled the programs more than a year ago, but federal courts blocked implementation. It was in response to a challenge brought about by Texas and 25 other states. Now, if the Supreme Court rules in favor of the White House, the president could begin putting the changes into effect during his final months in office. So let's talk about this, take this very complicated issue and try and simplify it a bit. Immigration attorney Stephen Davis joins us here in the morning show. Good to have you here. As an immigration attorney, you've been trying to bring about reform for something like 30 years. We don't know, because the Supreme Court hasn't tipped its hand, where things are going to land. Does this open the door, however, to some of that reform?
I hope so. The main problem we have now is that the immigration laws need to be reformed. And I brought, and there's a immigration law that got passed by the Senate only a couple of years ago, and it's about 2,000 pages. And
so it's very complicated.
It's very complicated legally, because if they open up immigration reform, then that's great. The question is, who does it? Whether the executive branch can do it or Congress has to do it.
And it's interesting, because I guess at the center of this whole discussion is what's called the Take Care Law.
Yes.
And the Fifth Circuit basically wiped its hands of it. And we can speculate as to why. I think there might have been some political reasons why they didn't want to get involved, and they passed it on to the Supreme Court. What is the Take Care Law? How does it all land?
Okay. In the Constitution of the United States, Article 2, Section 3, it says the president has to faithfully execute the laws of the United States, okay? Take care. Or it's also called the Separation of Powers Clause. And they have three branches of government. Congress makes the laws. The executive branch enforces the laws, which is the president and Department of Homeland Security. And then you've got the judiciary. Interesting from a legal standpoint that the Supreme Court, when they granted this was not an appeal to the Supreme Court. It was a writ called a writ certiorari, which is very rarely granted. When they granted it, what they added on, this was a blockbuster, is that the Supreme Court said, we want to see if this applies to the Article 2, the separation of powers, and whether or not the president overstepped his bounds.
We are a land of immigrants. Does it surprise you that we're having this debate in 2016?
You know, I've been watching immigration law. I've been doing this for like 40 years, and immigration law. Originally, we had immigration reform. It was called an amnesty in 1986, okay? And the difference between 1986 and now, President Reagan was the president. He got Congress to go along with it. Now we don't have Congress passing laws for immigration reform. And the president has got, there's 4.3+ million people who are parents of U.S. citizen children. We're not talking about criminals. If you have a criminal conviction or you have serious criminal offenses, then you don't get what's called deferred action or prosecutorial discretion.
But you know, if you listen to the GOP hopefuls, they'll sit back and their argument is we can't go ahead with this because it'll allow people who broke the law to get here to stay in the country. But what you're saying is we're not talking about people who broke the kinds of laws that undermine society. Anyhow, the debate rages on. Stephen Davis.
Oh,
thank you very much. Yeah, the 3.5 minutes goes.